Fireally asks, Dirge, where did you get your detective's license from?
This fancy old badge? It's custom made, you see. Right now there ain't no such thing as a detective license. It's a modern tragedy, I tell ya. Like the grapevine not letting me pursue the truth. That's how I got into the biz, you see. They thought the best place for me was in the mailroom, but it's out here, following my real calling, you see.
Hey McHugh, you ever get the feeling of, hundreds of voices in your head telling you about stuff that makes no sense? Like protecting anarchy, make a Bulbasaur sing, looking for a moonstone to then throw it away, or despising a Flareon.
So, I think Mimikyu would respond to this question by walking in random directions, occasionally smashing into walls. And then he'd probably go through the Dark Hero's inventory, throwing out random stuff to never be seen again. There goes that immovable rod. And then eventually he'll just do whatever you tell him to.
Kauto asks Sora,
You're a human? Like me? Interesting. So, what brought you to the Pokemon world?
I don't know what brought me here. It's pretty evident it's not singing for a bunch of shaman. But at the same time, I'm no big explorer either. Which makes me doubt my decision going with these Pokemon.
Fireally asks, who is Henry's biggest fan?
Who is my biggest fan? Now that is an interesting question. Now I would say my biggest fan would have to be, that one Poplio who shows up to almost all of my shows. I don't know how she is able to get from town to town that quickly, but it's something. It's like she doesn't have a home or something. She's always stalking me backstage. I don't know what's going on. She's just a mad Poplio, madly in love with me, I suppose. I haven't seen her ever since I got onto that ship, and I do not know what happened to her then, if that was the case, if she followed me there. Whatever her whereabouts are, she is undoubtedly my biggest fan. Can't seem to remember her name, though.
Fireally asks, are Rain's parents okay with him going out on his own adventure and dying?
Ignoring the dying part, my grandpa and my dad definitely support me on going on my own adventure. My grandpa is especially supportive, since he's the one who inspired my sense of adventure in the first place. My dad took a little bit of convincing to come around. He hadn't really left the village all that much in his life, so he was nervous about what I might encounter in the outside world. However, once he saw my passion for adventure, he turned around and supported me all the same. Of course, they do want me to come home and tell them of all the tales of my journey, but I think that they know that if I do die, I die doing the thing that I love, and that's all that matters. As for my mother, I'm sure that she'd be supportive as well. I miss her a lot, but I know that she'd give me her best wishes and send me off with a smile if she was still around.
Hey, sorry if I'm bothering you. I just wanted to say I'm a big fan of yours, and I was kinda hoping if you could give me some adventuring advice. I mean, I joined the guild recently, so I'm kinda new at this exploring stuff, and well, since you're so cool and awesome and experienced and pretty, I was wondering if you could share some of that wisdom with me?
Well, aren't you adorable? Well, simply put, I think what makes a good team is finding others who share your common goals and interests. You know, those you're able to stay in rhythm with like a beating drum. Of course, embrace what makes your team stand out. You probably already know what makes Team Charm stand out, right? Our expertise on treasure hunting, of course. Just keep your eye on the prize.
Fireally asks, Rodney, do you still have the exploration team badge from the Phantom Thieves?
No, I don't. I threw it away. I don't like being reminded of bad memories.
Hey Rafa and Sora, remember that time the two of you were roommates? Did you do anything fun together?
Okay. So, Rafa, since you're the only girl among us, I'll let you decide. I'll let you take pick of who you want to bunk with.
I'll bunk with Sora.
Yeah. And just what exactly are you trying to imply with this? All we did was sleep.
Well, I don't know if we would call it fun, but I talked to Sora a little bit about the Sand Continent and what I came to know about it, and some of the famous places and how I came to know about the shaman and my fascination to learn about these other places in the world. It was... I don't even know if... It was more like pillow talk, so I don't even know if he was listening to me, but... Like, I don't know.
Fireally asks, Uncle Jimmy, how much of what Robin says about you is factual?
Hey, Uncle Jimmy! Wanna come ask this question real quick? Oh, yes, this question here. Well, I say that you are quite factually correct with many of the things you say about me. Though you add too many greats. It's just great Uncle Jimmy, not great Uncle Jimmy. That's the only difference. So, yes, my nephew, my grand-nephew Robin, is a reliable source.
Mythville has a book in one paw, twirling a pencil in the other.
You guys have been on quite the adventure, huh? Journeying through mystic villages, exploring ancient mystery dungeons, all with a heaping amount of pressure on your backs. I know I'd struggle trying to do something like that. Being on such a taxing journey must make the desire to find a way to escape pretty intense. With all that in mind, I gotta ask, what's the thing that drives you to keep pushing on? The whole saving the world thing is important and all, but is that the only reason you have for doing this?
Well, to be honest, if I had the ability to, I'd honestly rather not be doing this, but I guess if I have any hope for it, maybe somewhere on this adventure I'll be able to sort of find myself and figure out who I want to be. So I guess that's a reason that keeps me going, and also, even if I'm not the best protector in the world, I still want to keep all these guys alive.
I think I've already explained this. I am on a quest for celebrity. I am on a quest to go to Lively Town and become the greatest street performer this world has ever seen! That and maybe save the world. Saving the world is a secondary objective.
Well, for me, now that I know that dark matter could be involved, I'm not really... I can't just let it go, not after those confronting void shadows. The book did not react to the crown, so it's possible that they're not connected at all, but I need to know. Besides, I think that now that I have the book, it's worth discovering, and I have been able to use what I've learned from Mawile's book with Chikorita, I think. Yeah, it's those two. So it's really great to be able to use that knowledge that I've learned, and hopefully everything won't be all about death and destruction, and I can learn about different cultures and how the ancient Pokemon used to live, why they used their footprints to write with, how they managed to imprint them on stone, things like that. I'd love to find that out, but I have to get through first things first, which is what I currently know and what the current threat is.
That's a very good question. If there's one thing besides saving the world that keeps me going, I would have to say will. A will to survive. Perseverance to keep going to the very end. It's very important when trying to accomplish tasks, any tasks. An individual must have that strength to persevere to the end. I wish the rest of the group would understand that, but I don't think they'd listen.
CloudLuigi asks, Sora, this is curious to me, but as a human that's become a Pokémon, would it still be possible to be caught by a Pokéball? Given the circumstances, it sounds scary.
Well, from my understanding, the Pokeball makes sort of a artificial paradise inside the Pokeball, catered towards the Pokemon. Which makes me kind of wonder what mine would look like. But the point is, Pokemon aren't forced to stay with a trainer they don't like. If they reject the trainer, they can go anytime they want. Back where I'm from, Pokemon actually prefer the company of people. And so it's rare for them to want to leave.
Fireally asks, Dirge, what happened on your dangerous Saturday night?
Effectively impossible to find. A needle and a stack of needles.
Don't you
Not
mean
a-
finding a needle in a haystack?
Clearly you've never had a dangerous Saturday night. Now there's a classic case. My first one, too. I was trying to solve a burglary and I had a suspicion about the suspect, but I needed the break-in tool to be certain. And I knew where it was, too. But there's the problem. It was hidden in a pile of silver spikes. You know how they say acupuncture is fantastic therapy? Well, unfortunately, that's one truth I'm never gonna bother to pursue.
So, Phantom Thieves, how and when did you guys meet anyways? Is there some funny story behind it, or was it more dark and broody?
Well, I used to be a skilled hitmon. I was really good at taking Pokemon out of the picture with no evidence. Because of that, I found out about this Phantom guy and tracked him down. I wanted to join since business was slow and they could use my services. But Phantom didn't really like my style. He hired me anyway, because I'm a little famous for what I do. Which is not a good thing in the criminal underworld. Trust me.
Ah, sheesh. Speaking of bad memories. I don't remember every little detail, but I'll try my best. So, the Phantom Thieves did not start out as a criminal organization, obviously. We actually started out as an exploration team. Me and Phantom started out as a team, was it Stealth? Shadow? I don't remember that much, but we were a team at first. Anyway, we were part of the Wigglytuff Guild on the Grass Continent. It seems like a pretty sweet gig at first, but then we found out that for every mission we finished, they would take about 90% of the reward money. It was absolute robbery. Phantom and I agreed that it was just too much, and so we decided to go independent instead. It felt great at the time, but going independent means having to market yourself, and we didn't exactly have too much money to market ourselves to begin with. It wouldn't be too long before we found ourselves in a huge amount of debt and in huge trouble. In an act of desperation, Phantom decided that since he wanted to get back at the Wigglytuff Guild, that he was going to do something about it. And that's why he turned to thievery. I decided to go along with it too because, hey, I hated Wigglytuff and his stupid bird friend. So when the guild wasn't looking, we decided to steal from them. Originally, we just took missions that were intended for the official members. And then, as we started to grow and grow, we decided to start stealing the treasure that the explorers were after. We even got to dig some dirt on them, which was freaking hilarious. I'll not say any of them, but what I found was pretty freaking great. We got so good at stealing from the Wigglytuff Guild that we decided to go the extra step. We were gonna take Wigglytuff's piece de resistance. No, it's not a perfect apple, don't be stupid. No, what we were looking for was something much more valuable and much more powerful. His most treasured possession. Around this time, however, me and Phantom's friendship had suffered greatly over the past few months. I don't know if it was just the stress of doing this, or there was some sort of disagreement we had that gone out of proportion, or whatever it was. But when we were on this mission to steal the artifact, it somehow reached a snapping point. So, for this infiltration, everyone had to be doing their part for the team. We each had our individual roles. For me, It was being on lookout to make sure that we were not going to be caught. I was looking around to spot any signs of trouble, and then I see Wigglytuff getting up for a midnight snack. I alerted everyone else that we had to move, but Phantom, for the first freaking time, he decided to ignore this plan just to earn himself a few extra seconds just to steal Wigglytuff's treasure out of spite. I knew he was seeking vengeance, but this was downright reckless. I tried to coax him that we had to get out of here, but he was just so dead set on finding it that it only took Wigglytuff saying, "Yum-ta!" that he realized, oh crap. I'm surprised we even managed to get out of there in one piece. Phantom got away easily. He used his illusion ability to get out of there. I just ran and I ran and I ran as fast as I could. I managed to escape, but I lost everything. Most everyone else on our team weren't so lucky. Jail time, you know. So over the next few days, I was just wandering around, figuring out what to do. And then I meet Captain Oliver and his crew, and the rest, they say, is history. Phantom, however, is convinced that I was somehow at fault for this. That I bailed out of the mission because of freaking cowardice. That can't be further from the truth. I know his version of events is full of lies. Besides, I always followed his #1 rule. We always stick to the plan. Such a freaking hypocrite, that guy. I can't even believe he would try to lie. Why can't he just admit it?
Fireally asks, Lucius, do you plan on visiting the Expedition Society since their mail is crummy?
If given the chance, I would like to, mostly just to pass off this whole adventure on Pokemon who know what they're doing. But getting there is the complicated thing. We'd have to find some way of getting tickets for the Lapras liner in the same way that we managed to get tickets to the Grass Continent. And that's probably going to be difficult.
Hey, Sora? I've been wondering. I say, who, man, is that the word? Whatever. I wanted to ask, how do you see us Pokemon? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea of how your kind look like, and the only other human I've ever known was also transform into a Pokemon, so I don't know if I should or if I would treat you any different, but after your world does have Pokemon, so what could you humans consider us? Just a means to an end? Or maybe partners? Friends? Lovers?
Well, that's a very subjective question. There's no one answer to that. Different humans want different things from Pokemon. Some of them are good intentions, like having a friend or a partner, and some of them are selfish and bad, like a means to an end, or even money.
Fireally asks, if Mimikyu used his Z move, would the opponent die to plate bombardment or just get spat out totally wrecked like normal?
Well, from what we've seen so far, this Mimikyu seems to be a pacifist. I mean, he only has one Pokemon on his body count, or knockout count, whatever you want to call it. So I don't think he'd use that Z move in fear of plates being shattered all over the victim inside of his cloth, his disguise.
Rafa, did you ever consider interviewing Sora to document the world he came from? If not, why?
I would like to know a lot about where Sora came from, but he says he doesn't know anything, and then there are certain things like his brother that he'll lock me out if I start to push that direction, so I'll just have to see when he wants to let me know, or if he wants anyone to know. But I'm definitely curious to know about where he came from. I was hoping Alan would help me too, but he also shut me out. Maybe it's just a human thing. Humans don't like talking about humans.